let's talk about the mental load, the things that women typically do in our brains to make sure that everybody gets out the house on time, to make sure everybody has the things that they need for a project, or getting to martial arts on time, or just doing all of the things to make sure that things are running smoothly. It's invisible labor. And like I said, it typically falls on the woman of the household. This woman named K.L. Shannon, she says the mental load in essay, and she made a post over on Threads saying, "My daughter's daddy offered to plan a vacation, a family vacation. We're leaving tomorrow for national parks." It's very interesting that she says my daughter's daddy. She doesn't say my husband, my boyfriend, my significant other. She says my daughter's daddy. She says, "We're leaving tomorrow for national parks. He got our hotel set up and even noted there was a restaurant next door that will meet everyone's dietary needs. Last weekend I asked, when is our timed entry? He responded, time entry? What's that? So I bolted like lightning to the park page and grabbed one of the only slots left at noon. It's going to be 90 degrees and a terrible time to enter the park. Just to let y'all know, I had no idea what timed entry is. I would have been like this man. But K.L. Shannon, she knew that you needed a timed entry to go into the national park." Before I dive deeper into her post, remember, he offered to plan the family vacation. Now let's dive deeper into her post. "Thankfully, I researched and they release a few extra tickets the night prior to each day. So I set an alarm for tomorrow night at 6:59 p.m. to try for a 7 a.m. entry the next day. I asked him to go through our daughter's gear while I was traveling for work last week. I got back late Friday and they hadn't. I took her to REI and spent a lot of money on new hiking shoes and hot weather gear for her. Yesterday, discovered her other gear is missing. I divided up my own to cover her. Yesterday, I worked from the car dealership so I can get an oil change because we can't take his vehicle. It's the end of the fiscal year and I worked a 12-hour day. Today, I'm cleaning out the cooler, packing the car, making sure he has a hat and hot weather gear, sunblock, grocery shopping, and dropped lots of money. But you know, he planned the trip. And because camp is all or nothing for the week, I've had my kiddo with me while doing all of this. So she's had her child while working and making sure that he planned things, which obviously he did not plan. Did I mention when I got home from my work travel, he stood at the door, keys in hand, and asked me what we needed from the grocery store? I responded, I have no idea. I haven't been here, while laughing. The next morning, I went to make a cup of coffee for my epically long workday, and there was no coffee. The horror. There's no coffee. The horror I would feel. All right, so there was no coffee. Gasp. Okay. When he used the last of it, but didn't think of it when he ran out to the grocery store the previous evening. Did we talk about it? Yes. Will things change? Only time will tell. H. McCain says, no, it won't. Been married almost 20 years. We still have conversations about how I carry the mental load. It isn't just the physical act of doing the things. It is the thinking and the planning of all the things related to the thing. Good luck. Now, we read and heard what K.L. Shannon said, and I can't just help but reflect on the fact that she calls him my daughter's daddy. That doesn't bode well. You could tell that this woman is emotionally exhausted. And the fact that the whole coffee situation would have really made me upset. Like, you used the last of it and you didn't replenish it. That would really grind my gears as someone who drinks coffee in the morning. But all of the he said that he planned a family vacation. He's calling it a family vacation. At least she was nice enough. She was really nice. She made sure he had a hat and some hot weather gear. But maybe she should have just let him plan his own trip just to see how much he was really lacking. She came in and rescued the whole trip. She rescued everything because he didn't plan anything. He got the hotel and he planned, he's like, we're going to go to this national park. So he had an idea. He had a concept, but she has to come in and fill in the blanks. And that gets emotionally draining at times. And I do believe that many times in the work setting, women have to be the ones that fill in the blank for things. And this is another reason why and I know that I'm kind of all over the place going from this family vacation to return to office. But I also believe that this is another reason for the return to office, because women are the ones that are filling in the gaps. They have to do the things, like we see things that for some reason they can't see. They can't see that spill. They don't know how to find a file. I don't know, but it's just like there is a reason why they want women there, because they're able to attach and be the parasites for everything that they refuse to do on their own. And then it comes back to this post that I was talking about earlier, where in the Ask Men Advice subreddit, this man says, if 70% of divorces are initiated by women, what actually makes marriage worth it anymore? And he says down here, let's talk about what's actually happening. Women initiate the majority of divorces, and in many cases, they come out ahead. If there are kids, they come out, they're more likely to get custody. They're more likely to get custody because women are the ones that are paying attention to the needs of the kids and where the kids are in school and the things that go on, like when they're out of school and taking care of the day camp and childcare and all of that. There is a reason why most women get custody and men are not asking for custody. He says if there's a significant income gap, they may receive alimony or child support. Less than 10% of women get alimony, and child support is peanuts compared to how much it actually costs to raise children. If the marriage wasn't meeting emotional needs, they get peace. Okay, they're getting peace because during the marriage, they were not getting any peace. And socially, divorce doesn't carry the same stigma it used to. In fact, it's often framed as empowerment. Okay, why not have some peace? Because for, women like this woman right here, imagine had she just let him plan it and she just got in the car and they just left. A car without an oil change, without actually having everything packed, without having gear, without having sunblock for a hot weather trip. That would be stressful. It is more peaceful when you think about it. It's just like, okay, I already know that I have to do all of these things versus should I trust him to do these things? Yes, there is definitely a peace, especially when you have not had the partner that you deserve or that you thought that you had. And that's the reason why he is called my daughter's daddy. Sister Travel Pants says, girl, no, you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You know that based on this post. You see it. We see it. Hell, I bet he even sees it. Read the book, Let Them and Let Him Fail. Let the fallout happen. Let the trip be canceled or mediocre. Or tell him you aren't available and then simply don't pick up the pieces. Fire by 50 says, stop rescuing him. Let it fail. Let him feel the consequences. That's the only way it changes. Stuttered Family Farm says, exactly. Or maybe you'll get to relax. And that's the thing. She could have made sure that she and the daughter were set and not gathered up the things that he needed for his trip. That way he could feel some of it where it comes to planning. But she did come in and rescue everything. So here's Eris Kelly telling her to make a to-do list. A to-do list is more mental load, but let's listen to this post. She says, make a to-do list of everything that has to get done for the trip to happen. Place your initial next to half of the items, the ones you'll complete, and his initial next to the ones he'll complete. First thing on the list is make this list with your initial. Cross it off. Give him a copy. The pieces will fall where they fall. So more mental load, more things that she has to take care of, less things that he has to take care of. And that's why War Moose Ford says, the point is that it still falls on the woman in the relationship. Little Abby says, it's amazing the things that my ex is learning on his own when he plans trips now with the kids, the things he's forgotten to check on and the things he's forgotten to bring with them. But the mistakes are his now. Example, bathing suits, rash guards, sunscreen, and the B&B being 45 minutes from the beach. When they have no choice but to do it on their own, it's sink or swim, and they can't blame you for anything. Anyways, let me know what you think about all this. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share. This post that I'm about to speak on right now speaks to many of the topics that I talk about on a daily basis. It kind of coalesces them all, and this is real life. This woman was a trad wife. Her husband left her. She had to go back to work. She had a big gap in years from the time that she wasn't working. Then she had medical issues. And then her daughter and the daughter's husband taking her in caused the daughter to have medical issues. Many of these things happen in real life. And this is one of the main reasons why I will continue to say women, young women, before you decide that, yes, I'm just going to have the easy life, and it's not easy. I'm just going to stay home with the kids. I'm just going to do the housework and manage the home. It is not a pretty look on the back end when the man decides that you are a wife appliance that needs to be traded in or disposed of. Now, let's get into this lady's story. This is the story from Jay Frost. She says, going to get very personal here. My grandma was a trad wife. After 40 years, grandpa ran off with his mistress, hid assets, and paid no alimony. Grandma started cleaning houses at 60, and my parents made up the rest of the money despite struggling too. At 71, still cleaning houses, Grandma had a massive stroke that paralyzed her entire left side. She needed 24/7 care. So Dad changed his hours to work the graveyard shift, while Mom worked 9 to 5, so someone would always be home with Grandma. The trad wife influencers are cosplayers. They are making money. This is real life. This woman did not make any money for 40 years, and then she had to start over at 60 years old because that man disposed of her and then was able to get out of paying any money to help maintain her life, even though she sacrificed her whole life for her family. 5 years later, Mom had a mini stroke. Doctors told her she couldn't keep working all day and caring for Grandma all night. So Grandma went into a Medicaid nursing home. It was her only option, as it is for many seniors. Long-term care is wildly expensive, and not all seniors can just live with their kids for lots of reasons. If you think Medicaid isn't important because you're healthy, employed, and able-bodied, think again. One day you or someone you love could need it. Protect Medicaid, no cuts. So obviously this woman is speaking about the Medicaid cuts, and that's important. And I talk about all of this stuff as well, and how the political is personal. People act like voting Republican, it's just a difference of opinion or whatnot. No, it actually has real life implications. And these people who have voted for it are about to see the real life implications bite them in their faces. It's going to bite them and their children in their butts if they are relying on Medicaid or SNAP or any other kind of benefits that prop up in a failing economy where costs are way too high. All of this is about to bite all of us in the butts. But I will continue to say that the people who voted for this, I hope that they get it worse and first. And I hope that they feel terrible every single day and feel stressed every single day. But now, I'm sorry, that was a tangent. Let's come back to Jay Frost's story. Adding for clarity that this didn't happen recently. Grandma died in 2005 at the age of 82. She never lost her sense of humor, her compassion for others, or her incredible inner strength. Ironically, today would have been her 103rd birthday. So happy birthday, Grandma. You are very loved and missed. This just goes to show, literally, we have got to be planning for every single thing, and not working, not having an education, not having credentials that you can update, even if you do take some time out of work. It makes sense to plan. And when people jump on me because I tell women to have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, L, M, N, O, P, I'm able to say that clearly. Even though I am married with kids, I'm able to say, let the birth rate plummet to hell, because I have seen what happens when a man can simply dispose of his wife appliance and walk away unscathed. And then everybody has to clamor to help prop up that woman who is in survival mode, especially if she has children. These people, the men, they can opt in or out of parenthood. They can do that. but women have got to game plan for survival. That's the reason why I applaud the child-free women who decided that they examined the economy. They have examined how men have treated women. They've examined what they have seen in their personal life, and they said, get someone else to do it. And they choose to opt out, because we see what happens when these men can just walk out unscathed, and then everybody is clamoring to make sure that the wife and the kids are able to survive. And I'm literally tired of it. It's heart-wrenching to think about. Gak of all trades is the one that tags me. She tags me in quite a bit, so I do appreciate Gak of all trades for this. She says, this post is the intersection of two very important topics. I was like, wow, this is me, Bourbon Bougie. If you want to tag me, I am over there. I see the tags. I get so many tags. I get to the ones that I can get to. Now, let's get to VMV. VMV says, it's your grandma. Okay, so he started some things. It's your grandma, as if J. Frost Arthur didn't know that it was her grandmother. Almost Heaven says, did you not read? Reading is fundamental. They cared for grandma until mother had a stroke and was unable to do so anymore. Obviously, you have never cared for an elderly person before. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made that stupid comment. And then VMV says, I see you did. People, you hate your parents. He says, people, you hate your parents. How did he get to the point of thinking that they hate their parents because they had to put grandma in a nursing home? Mama had a stroke. Mama couldn't keep it up with working and caring for her sick mom. So how does he get to people, you hate your parents? That's why I did a question mark. Fruit and Veg Machine says, just wow, not only missing the point, but you're also incredibly rude. Her message was about Medicaid, followed by a personal anecdote and a tribute to her wonderful grandma. People giving personal examples helps the general public to understand why losing Medicaid would be detrimental. That's the point. Obviously lost on you. VMV gives us more mansplaining, so let's go ahead and check it out. Here's VMV saying, rude that trade wife didn't contribute taxes, but did her time to her family, and now that family placed her in the terrible nursing home. You people are definitely hallucinating here. Just one more. So, on one hand, you'll see that people want women to go home, go back in the home, cook, clean. They want us to do all of that. They talk about this all the time. They glamorize the 1950s. And yes, that takes out of the tax, that takes out the tax fund, that takes out of all that she would have built up in Social Security. I get that. But you can't, that's the reason why you can't strip social safety nets. Social safety nets have to be there for someone that was willing to sacrifice her financial earnings to do that. And it's unpaid labor. It's still consistently working. It's just that women don't get paid for it. So what do? People have to clamor around and prop her up. But what happens when the support system gets weak and gets sick as well? This is precisely what happens. Lindsay says, hopefully someday you end up in a horrible nursing home. And then BMV says, that was funny. It's definitely your culture. This trade wife exactly living there. So this person is obviously angry, but it's like women are put in a no-win situation. This is one of the reasons why women literally just have got to continue working. It is for survival's sake. I wanted to continue VMV's thought. He says, my point is that great trade wife is not cared for, I guess, by her descendants. It's again, someone else's burden, great family values. And this person asks, why do you care? And we get to the crux of why he's angry. He says, because I pay my taxes and can't get any appointment for months. Doctors are always busy. As for a lot of working people, the same time, low-income patients don't pay copay, so they don't check or don't care for codes. They are more wanted, or free healthcare for everybody, or stop this scam. Now, I have to try to translate that through my illiterate translator, but it just sounds like he's angry because he pays taxes and he can't get into these appointments. But that is one of the issues. Them stripping away money and funds will harm everybody. And the way they are firing people, it is going to continue to harm everybody. He's wrong at the wrong person. I'm sorry, he's mad at the wrong people because it's all a scam and everybody is harmed by it when you continue to snatch funds from poor people in Medicaid. Anyways, let me know what you think about all of this. Like, comment, and share.